What's going on, guys? Today we have something pretty cool to talk about. I have in front of me the Honor Magic V5. This is the first Honor phone that I have ever actually had the privilege of unboxing, giving my impressions on, reviewing later on down the line. Of course, big shout out to Honor because they actually reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to review this phone? I said, of course I do, and they sent it over. So in this video, we're going to be unboxing this phone, and I'm going to be giving you my first impressions. I almost said my quick first impressions, but we all know that's not going to happen. Sliding that top off, it looks like the phone kind of flopped around in there a little bit. Hopefully everything is okay. Let's actually take it out and kind of set it to the side. A lot of the time, these Chinese OEMs will pack more into their box than what we are used to seeing. We obviously have a SIM removal tool there, but this is quite a bit thicker, which makes me think there's more in here maybe. There's a USB-C to C cable. Oh, look at that. We have a case. We have a case here to use, and that's actually quite an interesting, almost like a, I don't know what you would call that color. It's got a gradient to it, but that's interesting, and that's obviously a great little value add, and it does have that hinge protection. So this is really similar to the case provided with the Oppo Find N5. Awesome to have. I'm not really sure what's going on. Oh, this is a kickstand. Oh, that's really smart. The camera bump is huge. You might as well use it for a kickstand. So no charging brick in there, but we do at least have the case and the USB-C to C. Guys, this is, of course, the global version of this phone. This is not the Chinese ROM, which has been available for a while. This is the global variant. Oh my goodness. Look at the color on the back of that. That is absolutely striking. And what else is absolutely striking is the size of that camera bump. Look at that. It is absolutely massive. Man, it sticks up off the back of that thing really, really far. Let's take that not for sale sticker off. We'll get a quick look at the complete invisibility of the crease, but keep in mind this has not been folded yet ever, so that's something that's going to change. That cover display looks nice and wide. I will also say it appears as though we have a screen protector pre-installed, and that is always a good thing to see too. Let's see how hard this thing is to open. Much, much easier than the Z Fold 7. There's actually like very little pressure holding it together. Here's the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. I think that's actually a little bit tougher to open than that. And here's the Oppo Find N5. It's similar to the Find N5, but maybe even a little bit weak. Yeah, this is definitely the easiest phone to open of the bunch. And it does feel like, is there a slight like chamfer to this phone? It feels like it kind of goes in. Let's get a look at the size of the camera bump compared to these other devices. It is definitely a very, very big camera bump. But next to the Oppo Find N5, they are so similar in terms of total thickness. And we'll slide the Z Fold 7 in there as well. D-brand leather skin on the back of it. Yeah, look, they're all really, really thin. So it looks like we have a speaker on the top, microphone there, volume rocker, power button, and then we have another speaker on that one. Oh, they've done it right. You got a speaker here and a speaker there, which means whenever it's open, you have stereo sound wherever you are. That's fantastic. Look how thin that USB-C port is. Very, very impressive. And we can open it up. There is our first look at the crease after one open and close cycle. Now what we need to do is fire this thing up and see what the setup process is going to be like. Boy, look at the wobble here. That is a big old camera bump, ladies and gentlemen. Although, we can also do this. How does it wobble when it's like this? Not at all. There's like hardly any wobble at all compared to the Z Fold 7, which is pretty crazy. So here is our first screen. As you can see, English is actually right there at the top, already selected. That's a good sign. United Kingdom is wrong, though. We're going to go down to the United States. For now, we're just going to ignore the lack of a SIM because it's in my Z Fold 7. We'll do all that here in just a little bit. Connect to Wi-Fi. We are getting the same option to copy apps from your other phone. So I think what I'll do is I'll maybe use my Z Fold 7 as the copy point. And it looks like this is going exactly as you would expect it to go. This is going to be a bit boring, so we'll skip ahead until this portion is done. As we are continuing this setup process, I do want to show you this. It does look to me like the bezels on the Z Fold 7 are a little bit more narrow than they are on the Honor Magic V5. But honestly, I'm not that bothered by that. You just kind of end up with a device that's, really lightweight and pretty easy to hold with one hand, and you actually have enough room to hold it like that. And you can kind of do that here as well. So as long as they're in that same range, I think I'm generally okay. I am noticing a handful of just sort of differences in the setup process. Like I've never seen anything like this before, enhanced services. And when you click on this, it's like basic stuff like Wi-Fi Plus or weather services, magazine unlock, deep fake detection service, just all kinds of things you can kind of, I guess, piecemeal on or off. All right, I think we are done. And we do have a software update to install on our deepfake detection. Let's go ahead and download and install that. We do have a brief look here at the home screen, which does have the Google feed to the left. A swipe up does not appear to get you to your app drawer. Okay, so this is interesting. I can click on this, and it's almost like doing the two-finger swipe down that you have on Oppo and OnePlus devices. That's interesting. What does this do? This is the 90-10 split, a whole new split screen mode. So they have that as well. They just have their own sort of like weird way to get into it like that, which you can probably drag to the middle and get, kind of. Okay, yeah, something like that. What about with a third application? We can do a floating window. We can replace, but I don't see an obvious way to do a third application. We'll need to make sure that that's the case, that it actually just, maybe it can't do that. I don't know. We'll have to find out. So I'm not entirely sure, but 3 apps in split screen just sort of, I think, started working after a system update installed. So it does work, and it's actually identical to the Oppo Find N5 or the OnePlus Open. You can see here that if I already have 2 applications open, let's just grab another application. We'll grab Wise. If I bring it all the way to the edge, everything kind of slides over, and then you get that third application, and then you can sort of do this thing to jump back and forth between all 3. Is there a 4-finger pinch to zoom out? Maybe there's something like that to see everything at once, but I don't necessarily see it. They do also have a way to expand these applications, but rather than putting it in the menu there, that doesn't seem to be the way that they're doing it. You have to select the app by touching it, and then you just sort of drag it out until you feel a little click, and then it's expanded. Go to the next app and do the same thing. Drag it out until it's expanded, and then grab the next app and then drag it the other way until it's expanded. And now you have 3 sort of full screen apps, but unlike on the Open and the Find N5, where the third one is below, they're all just side by side. So I think this is definitely cool, but much more clumsy than how it works on the Find N5. As you can see, it just looks like every app is just going to be on the home screen like an iPhone. I'm hoping that we can get rid of that. Oh, okay, so that basically makes it like expand. So that makes it so that like this is a screen and this is a screen. When the phone is closed, you're going to wind up seeing like this. But when you open it, it's the same thing. So what that's doing is you can have it be that it just spreads everything out. That's kind of an interesting way to go. Okay, under home screen and style, we can have an app drawer. Thank goodness. I am not an iPhone user. We're going to have an app drawer. Okay, that's much better. But man, there are a lot of things going on here. Lots of very unique looking software. They have really gone a long ways towards, honestly, they in a lot of ways making this look very much like an iPhone. I wonder if I can actually combine my notifications and my quick settings like I can on other phones. So I'm sitting here trying to get my layout kind of set up the way that I like it, and I'm looking for widgets. There are just so many different things about the way that they're doing their software. Widgets are called cards, and whenever you select it, they give you sort of, I guess, like their own custom widgets, AI selections files, like a selection of widgets, but you got to go down to classic widgets to get to your application. And then what's weird is they're not like in alphabetical order. Like I scrolled all the way down looking for YouTube Music, and you would think it would be all the way down at the bottom, but it's not. It's like kind of halfway-ish down, just kind of strange. Here's a cool thing. They have their own little now bar type thing popping up here at the top, but rather than being in the corner Let's bring my Z Fold 7 back over, and we'll turn down the volume so this doesn't get loud. It's, rather than being up here, it's over there. And I guess it's there because that's where the hole punch selfie is. They're covering, it's like a dynamic island. We are doing a software update, whether I like it or not. I just popped the case on there, and that actually reminded me that I didn't show you guys what the hinge looked like. Typically, a hinge, not really something worth talking about, but on this one, look at that. It's got this really cool looking design on it. It's not a texture. You don't feel it. It's just the design, but that looks really quite nice. We'll pop the case back on, and we'll see how this kickstand is actually working. So it looks like it's supposed to be like this. I guess that technically works, but they're probably intending you to do it this way. And that does appear like it's working quite well. And then, of course, if I open the thing up, that is also still working quite well. So, hey, I say pretty darn good case to have in the box. Of course, it does not protect the front part of the device, but I don't normally use cases that are bulky enough to do that on foldable devices anyway, so I'm not really too bothered by that. So one thing I was kind of surprised I didn't see was a smart sidebar, but it turns out there is a smart sidebar. You swipe in and hold, and there it is, and it looks like it's probably doing very, very similar things to what we're used to seeing. Quick pop-up view launching right there. But there's also some other things here at the top, like compose. So this is going to quickly just pop out and I guess allow you to generate text, but there is also this option, which is allowing me to circle something. Look how this kind of just like slides over to the side. I can save it, I can extract text, I can share it directly to something as well. What does this mean? Okay, so this allows me to actually just crop that as like a partial screenshot. It's very similar to Samsung's AI Select option. And it looks like that magic portal option can be done a different way too. It says with your knuckle, tap, and then draw a circle? Okay, not exactly what I thought was going to happen. Let's try this again. Can we delete this? Maybe they mean do that. That's exactly what they mean. Okay, so not tap and then draw a circle. It's just draw a circle with your knuckle. That is really unique and interesting. We have air gestures. We don't need no pen. We'll just use the camera. We can do this thing. Let's turn it on. Air scroll. Back up so that I have some room here. Look at that. I don't know why you would want to do this, but I guess you can. So this is by no means a camera review, but of course I ran outside with this thing and I took a handful of photos, and I took a handful of photos with the Galaxy Z Fold 7 as well. And what I'll say is that the camera performance seems pretty impressive. Now, on paper, this is a pretty darn solid camera setup. Unlike every other foldable I've tested, there isn't a sensor that you can point to and say, oh, here's the bad sensor, right? The Z Fold 7's 3x telephoto is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. They've done some pretty cool stuff in software to make it better, but it's definitely the worst sensor of the bunch. On this phone, all of them should be pretty darn good, and when you do look at that telephoto performance, you can kind of already start to see a pretty big difference in terms of detail at more extreme zooms versus a phone like the Z Fold 7, which is very, very competitive in that regard to other phones like the Oppo Find N5. This telephoto does seem like it might be a step above. So like I said in the beginning of this video, big shout out and thanks to Honor for sending this device over for me to check out. This was just the unboxing and the first impressions. We're not making judgments about really much just yet. What comes next is me daily driving this thing, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a full review, and then let me know in the comments what sorts of comparison videos you would like to see as well. We're going to dive deep just like we always do, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button before you go so you don't miss out on content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.